Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is Chris, and welcome back to, once again, another episode of the Survivor podcast with my good friend Gocubs 711.
Chris, have you ever been to Moe's?
Moe's, as in, like,
Moe's.
Moe's Bar from The Simpsons?
No. There's a Mexican place called Moe's Southwestern Grill.
Oh, yes, I've heard of it. I don't know if I've ever been to it, though. I've seen, I pass one on the road every day to school, but
Ah,
I do not, I do not recall actually ever going there.
it's some good shit.
It's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do enjoy the good Mexican food, and unfortunately, we were unable to record it on the day of Cinco de Mayo,
Oh,
last week. To tie it back, we unfortunately couldn't get a podcast in. I opted for the draft podcast instead, but
it's fine.
we are back, baby. And before we get into the episode, the last episode recap, we'll just briefly touch upon what happened the week before. And I mean, do you remember anything significant other than who ended up going home?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like a lot of it was like you kind of knew what was like gonna end up coming. Um, so I well, really the only thing I could think of is Zeke went home, and so that was the end of his. And I mean, look, he made a poor decision. He targeted Andrea way too early. He got the his own alliance to turn on him, and he never really recovered from that. And he survived a few weeks, but that was really it. He was then eliminated, and he will no longer be part of the season, and that means I will have to pick a new winner. I did have one in my mind prior to the start of this upcoming episode, and I'll say it has remained that person
Okay.
at the end of that episode. So I'll reveal that near the end. With that being said, let's get into the episode. We start out, they get back to camp, and Ty, Sierra, Brad, and Troyzan are all a little bit blindsided by the fact that Zeke's alliance turned on him, and Ty specifically was also blindsided because his alliance voted for him as well.
Yeah.
So that the three of them voted for Ty. Uh,
That was
so
also the second time that I was worried that Ty might go home with two idols in his possession.
which is really sad, and
Yeah.
that would be very very depressing for him. Um, but so that was kind of like what was happening near the end there, and Sierra then that was like the night portion, and during the day Sierra gives a little monologue about being like, it's so weird being on the bottom. You just have no control of the game at all. Same thing, same shit, different day. Um, but what the significant part here was that she ended up going to Sarah, and basically revealing that she has the legacy advantage. The legacy advantage, if you remember, is the that she has the power at the final 6 to earn immunity. She also had the power to do it at the final 13, but she opted not to do so. So at the final 6, she would get immunity for that if she chose to use it, which, I mean, I think at that point you would do it no matter what.
Yeah.
So she tells Sarah this, and Sarah's like, all right, now I want to get out Brad over Sierra. I think Brad is going to be the bigger threat to get out, and his game is essentially over. And that cuts to the... All right,
Thanks for that, as always.
And so we move on to the reward challenge, and what a treat this reward challenge was. It was Jeff Probst said that it was going to be a barbecue, but beyond just it being a barbecue, it was the reunion of all the castaways' family members, and that's always a very teary-eyed part of the season when all the family members run onto the beach to hug their long lost castaway
Yeah.
relatives.
And by that, it's been like a month.
Right. It's been like 21 days. It's like 9 days before they leave.
Yeah.
But I think it was a lot. All pretty much all of them was it was a very nice reunion. I guess maybe the most significant out of all of them was the return of Monica, who is more known for Survivor than Brad is. And he went on the beach when he saw her. He immediately said to her, like, I had no idea what you had to go through in order to get to this point and make it all the way to the end, and you have no idea how even more proud of you I am. So that was a very touching moment. Gocubs didn't see this moment, by the way. He couldn't. The rainstorm
I
ruined it.
can't. I was driving home in a storm while it was airing, and the DVR couldn't pick it up because the storm, and I have satellite, and even though that happens, I will still not get cable. So fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck the establishment.
Fuck
So
fuck Comcast.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's is
I
that
say that, and they provide my internet, but
is
whatever.
is that the only option you guys have out there for cable?
Probably not.
Oh yeah, but you don't want to
I
give up.
just wanted to say fuck Comcast.
Yeah, and fuck Verizon too. Um, I don't have Verizon. But yeah.
Well,
Anyways, so they have this nice little reunion, and then it's time to get to the reward challenge. So you have each the remaining nine castaways are split up into teams of three. And they're all tied together, and they have to do like a little bit of an obstacle course. They have to go through water. They have to, or they have this. I'm pretty sure they have to swim through water, swim through an obstacle there. They have to like crawl onto the beach under like a cage. Then they have to dig under a log in order to get under there, which is one of the more excruciating
oh god, that's so hard to
obstacles.
watch.
It's hard to watch because especially I always think back to when that happened. That was when all the medical emergencies happened at once. A few seasons back, that
Uh,
it was during that challenge when they were all like
yeah,
digging in the sand and everything. Ugh, it was the worst. But the and at the end, once they all got through that, they got some keys. They unlocked a box that was filled with bean bags, and it was the throwing of bean bags uh, into the pyramids. And the first one to knock all the boxes off the pyramid or off the table that the pyramid was on would win the reward, get to go to the barbecue with their family. So I believe the teams was Sarah, Michaela, and Ty were paired up as three. Then you had Sierra, Troyzan, and uh, I think it was Brad. No, no, Brad was it was Brad, Andrea, and Aubrey that were on the winning team. Um,
yes.
Spoiler alert. Um, but the other team, I believe it was Troyzan, Sierra, and then who's the one I'm forgetting of all of them? Oh, Suri. There you go.
Yeah.
So they go through the challenge, and like I said, it ended up being Brad, Andrea, and Aubrey on top. And then they had to choose two individuals to bring with them on the reward. Um, and it ended up being Suri got the first one to be able to hang out with her son. Um, and then they picked Sarah, who got the opportunity to hang out with her husband, and they all got to go to the barbecue, leaving Michaela, who was pissed off about that. Michaela, Ty, Sierra, and Troyzan all were left to the dust. Did not get to hang out with their families, and they had to go back. It was the most brutal of reward challenge picking who to come on the challenge moments, like that
Yeah.
and whenever they bring out like the family letters, like anything involving the family, it's excruciating. um so we get to the barbecue, and they're all hanging out, and Brad and Monica are basically strategizing.
Of course.
Because I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he has a survivor wife, so they she knows how to play the game. So they're immediately trying to game plan on what to do next. Um, and so what Monica was telling him was to bring in Michaela, and because Michaela is kind of seems like she's on the outs, and that you know her team did not pick her to come to the challenge, so obviously she's very angry about that. So that's their opportunity to strike and bring her into their alliance. And meanwhile, back at camp, Michaela and Ty form a bond. It seems like they are now, I guess, a duo of sorts. Um, and then at the same time, Sierra and Troyzan decide that they're gonna go over there and maybe try to form an alliance, in which they do. Sierra, Troyzan, Ty, Michaela, and Brad, who wasn't there, but they included Brad in it. The five of them would form an alliance, and they're looking to probably knock Andrea out, who they believe is the biggest threat in the game. So Michaela is going to give them her word. She's not going to say at the moment whether or not she's going to keep to her word or not, but she likes the fact that she has the options that she does. And then I believe I don't, at least as far as I know, I don't think there was anything in between that and the immunity challenge. At least
I don't
not,
believe so.
I think the immunity challenge was next. What was the immunity challenge? Did you see that?
Yeah, so this is a brand new challenge, which they actually uh, made a point of because they had been reusing so many challenges this season. Basically, they had to.
Can I just? They always reuse challenges in every single season.
I know, but it just seems like more so that this season there were a bunch of reused challenges, and they made more of a point that the challenges were reused because they were
Right.
playing them for the
Yeah.
second or third time.
Yeah, I
Uh,
gotcha.
anyways, they had to stand on a very narrow beam while holding a ball with two posts or two rods, I guess, uh, with a ball in between them. And if the ball fell or if they fell off the beam, they were out.
Yeah, and it was really like when it rained and poured, a bunch of them like almost fell off. Well, it was like two maybe in the beginning, but then like five of them, six of them, or along those lines ended up, or I think it was more five of them. Just all of a sudden, all of them just dropped like flies, and ended up coming down to Ty and Brad, and Brad ended up pulling out the W.
Yeah,
Brad
he
ended up,
really needed that.
yeah. So he ends up winning. I think this is his first ever individual immunity challenge, and he was going to be a target for obviously for Sarah and for Andrea and that side. So he needed that big time.
Mm.
So then we get back to camp, and now the plan has kind of gone out the window for the Andrea alliance. So then they decide, all right, well, if we're not gonna get out Brad, we're gonna get out Sierra. And this kind of conflicts. I have someone laughing in the background. I apologize.
All right.
Uh, I yeah. So they decide, okay, we're gonna get out Sierra, and this gives Sarah the opportunity to go up to Sierra and reaffirm the fact that if if by any chance Sierra were to be eliminated, hypothetically, of course, that Sarah would get the legacy advantage, and Sierra gave her word. So that's what ended up that's what they plan to do. Um, if that were to happen, but Sarah and Sarah's gonna actually try to vote her out, even though she gave her the word that she wouldn't. Um, so then uh, you have Michaela and Ty just trying to decide which way they want to go, trying to see uh, what could work out best for them. And I think they initially said Andrea, and they felt like Andrea was the best option. What were the reasons that they gave at camp for wanting to get rid of Andrea or Sierra? I forget.
I don't remember.
I don't think they really clearly did that, but it was um those were basically the two people that were being debated the most was between Sierra and Andrea, and so then they all went to camp, they went to tribal, and it wasn't really that exciting of a tribal. Andrea was like Andrea and Sierra kind of had this back and forth. We're not kind of where they're like uh I was like Sierra was like, oh well, the people that came up to me guaranteed me that I was safe, so I'm gonna have to trust them. And Andrew was like, well, probably the same people went up to me and told me that I'm safe, so I mean, no matter what, we're gonna trust them and see which side which people are telling the truth. And then Sierra was pretty much like, yep. Um, and Michaela actually gave a very good analogy, in very good use of words, I guess. I guess with the in this instance, but she was like, you and right now you want to be with the we, and or you hope that you're with the we, and you hope it doesn't become a me. And she kind of uses her like three fingers and turns it upside down. And so we me. That's why I hoped the title of that episode would be. But you know what? We're gonna title this episode "We Me." Anyways, so I'm sorry. We're gonna get to the vote now, and it was weird. It was kind of like the way that they announced the votes. It was like Andrea, Sierra, and Andrea, Sierra, Andrea, Sierra, Sierra. And I think the final vote was Sierra, and Sierra ended up going home. And I believe it was I don't think there was any other special votes thrown in there. Um, I think it was I think Brad Troyzan. Actually, I think Brad Troyzan were the only one that deferred, other than like Sierra, maybe.
Yeah.
I have to look back at the votes. But yeah, so Michaela and Ty ended up voting out Sierra, and she's out, and Andrea remains in. And yeah, I think I gotta say right now with the way that things are, it seems like the women are the stronger. There's a lot of stronger players on the.
There is no doubt.
Yeah, I mean,
right now, Andrea and Sarah, I think, are the two strongest players in the game.
I think the only strong male player like right now is Brad.
Yeah,
and even he's kind of lingering on the bottom, and people are looking to maybe get him out as soon as possible. So, and to go into who I'm picking as my next winner, it's really easy right now to kind of like look at this and be like, all right. You have like these two powerhouses, and it seems like on the Sarah and Andrea, like those two seem like they're on top, and I find it to me that Sarah is not being portrayed as much as a powerhouse. I mean, she's definitely making a lot of moves in the game, and she's definitely in the forefront, but people are not treating her that way, and that's why I'm going to pick her as my winner, because I feel like she has been flying under the radar with a lot of these people, and people want to work with her. Like even the other side seems like they want to work with her too. I think there might be some concern because near the end of the tribal, Sarah acted confused. I think that was her way of making sure for the last minute that Sierra would give her the legacy advantage, which she ended up doing so. Which is another reason why I am choosing Sarah, because I think that's a huge advantage to have now if she can make it that far. I mean, she's at the final 8 now. I mean, she just has to survive 2 more tribals. But you think about it at this point, I just think that Sarah has really made a statement with her way that she's played this game at this point that I feel like going against her. I mean, she hasn't won challenges, but she's definitely won the social game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but but I think that we're in for some chaos. Team Chaos, I think
Team Chaos.
is afoot
It's
because
gonna happen.
we have that immunity lingering with legacy advantage if she ends up making it for the next 2 episodes. But we also have 2 idols in the pocket of Tai, and we also have 1 idol in the pocket of Troyzan. At some point, those 3 have to start playing their idols. So, I would think that, I mean, Tai, if he survives 2 more tribals, he could use, and if he can save those idols, he could just use back-to-back idols and basically survive himself to the final 4. Because I believe the last time he could use it is final 5. If I
Idols, yeah. I think it depends on whether it's going to be final 3 or final 2.
Yeah.
You can't idle yourself into the finals.
Right.
So it's the tribal before then.
Yeah.
So if it's final 3, then final 5 is the last he can use it.
Right. So he could use it he could use the idol when it's the final 6, and he could use an idol when it's the final 5. So he can still make the final 4 at that point.
Yeah.
So then at that point he would still have to win immunity to guarantee his safety, or hopefully play his cards right to make it back into the final 3 for the second time for him.
Yeah.
Troyzan, it would be very interesting if he actually got in. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about Tai. If he ends up winning an individual immunity of his own and would rather use it to save one of his ally members,
he could.
That would be another option for him.
I could see it where he could be like, wins. He could absolutely play games with people, like mental games with people.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if Tai would actually do this, but I would if I was in this situation. I have 2 idols in my pocket, and I win individual immunity. So I have the individual immunity necklace. So what I do is that that right before, or right before they do the votes, I would give my immunity necklace to one of my allies. So then everyone was like, "All right, what an idiot! We'll vote on Tai."
Oh, that would be sweet.
And then Tai hands in the immunity idol.
I would totally do that.
It's just like, what? Like, I think it would be the best. It would be awesome if that was
that would just be so much fun. And like everyone knows that everyone at home who knows that Tai has idols would know that it's coming.
Yeah, right, but then everyone else would just be like, "Oh, look at him! He's trying to be a hero." And they would believe it because they'd be like, Tai has had a lot of stupid moments. 1, in this game, and 2, he also he also has this very kind nature to him that, you know, it would be expected of him to do something as kind as giving up his immunity necklace for one of his great allies that he has, and then he pulls that shit. Like, that would be awesome. But I would say right now, I think the people that are near the top right now, I think S3E is an underrated player too. I think that she could end up making some moves down the stretch, that she could end up making it to the end. Sorry about that. I mean, maybe even Michaela. I mean, if she has to play her cards right. But I don't
think Michaela's gonna.
I mean, but right now she's in the middle, and she's an ideal player to take to the end, because people could be like, she's annoying. Why would we want to vote for her?
Mm.
But I mean, if she makes some moves down the stretch and it makes it to the end, there's a good chance that people might be like, all right, we'll vote for her.
I suppose.
But I mean, that's just my logic. Who do you think doesn't have a chance right now? I mean, maybe you think Michaela, but
I don't think Michaela has a chance.
Yeah,
I don't think Michaela has. Michaela has done one thing, and that was freak out because she heard her name once. Other than that, all she does is pout.
Yeah.
Sandra was the one who influenced JT going home over Michaela. Like, that was Sandra's move, not Michaela's move.
No, of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, if she ends up turning it on down the stretch, because she like I said, she's
not going to is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
She's not fucking going to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think I don't think Aubrey has a chance. I really like Aubrey, and she still should have won her season.
She's done nothing this season, though.
She's done nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think Ty Troyzan could maybe get lucky and idle themselves there.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know if they would have the votes.
I mean, they have chess pieces in those idols to make moves and build a resume of some kind to be like, look, this is what I did. I was able to save myself. I was able to find these idols on my own, save myself, and also save my allies and get out a big threat or something like that. Like, I feel like that's their ticket to the end would be that through there. Really, I think everyone else. I think Brad. I think Andrea. I think Sarah.
I think Brad, Andrea, or Sarah is going to win this season. If one of those three makes it to the end, they will win.
Yeah, I think
if
that
those three end up making it to the end, I don't know who should win at this point.
Right now, yeah. I mean, I feel like all three of them have been playing a very solid game. Who fucking would have guessed, man? Andrea,
so right.
Brad, and Sarah. We all were shitting on them in preseason. We were all just like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Or it was more like we just didn't know who they are. But look at this.
Brad just stopped being an asshole.
Right. Well, Brad stopped being an asshole. But I mean, he's had a very leadership leadership side to him, and he has. I mean, what move has he made? I feel like he did make a move in the game thus far. I forget if he did though.
One thing that he did, he kind of has been like an alliance, kind of like a head of alliance thing.
Yes.
Where he's been kind of like directing some votes. But another thing that he did was, when Ty had his first idol. Let's keep in mind that Ty also had another idol.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Brad was the one who like pointed to Sierra at the joint tribal council and be like, played for her.
Yes, that's him. That was him.
Yeah.
So
He's got Malcolm up.
Oh, that was one of the best tribals ever. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
I absolutely. So yeah, I agree. I think Andrea and Sarah have both been playing really solid social games. I think Andrea has won a lot of challenges as well. My issue with maybe picking Andrea as a winner right now would be I feel like people are onto her in terms of
she's the biggest we got to vote for her target currently.
Right. So I mean she could absolutely pull a Mike down the stretch, maybe winning back to back challenges. But I think that when given a chance, there might be people that are onto her. Where Sarah, I feel like again, she's been making moves, but it's been very under the radar. So I think that she has that she's a solid I think that she might be good for now. Although like I said, I think the one thing I might be concerned about was that I think Andrea caught on to Sarah acting weird at the end of the last tribal, and that might sink into the next episode. So who knows about that? But yeah, I think that it's a very strong three at the top, and I think Suri has played a good social game. Obviously, has not been good at the physical challenges, but I don't know if she's really been the champion of a move or anything like that. But I feel like she's been a solid player generally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can agree with though that I think Michaela it would be a surprise if she ends up turning her around. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Aubrey has not done anything to this point. Ty and Troyson just have the pieces, but I don't know if they're gonna do anything with it. So I think that's a good sum up of what's happening now.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen in the next round or next episode? Is it I know that the preview was a little soap opera spat between Michaela and Brad, it seemed like.
Sorry, say that again.
I said that it was a soap opera spat between Michaela and Brad. For the previews for next episode. So I think that that's could be one of the main storylines of the episode. Who knows if that's gonna actually affect the vote? Because sometimes they just when they give the previews, it usually ends up not doing so. But
yeah,
who do you think is gonna win immunity?
I think that Suri is gonna surprise and win immunity.
There you go. I love it. Bold prediction. All right, and for me, I'll say that Brad goes back to back.
Okay.
I think that he's now fueled with the Monica inside him.
Yeah.
And who do you think is gonna go home?
Michaela.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be finally Monica?
I'm ready for her to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I think that there's gonna be a radar on her. Um, I think that Brad's gonna win immunity, and so the majority alliance is kind of wanting to stick together, but they kind of they also have been looking at each other, maybe wanting to target each other. I but considering what they just showed as a potential uh, preview, I think. Well, here's what I'll say. I think that they'll try to target Troyzan or Ty. Troyzan and Ty will play their idols, and Andrea goes home.
All right.
So, I think that is not. I mean, I think that would be like the best case scenario for the minority at this point. Would be that Brad wins the immunity, and then the remaining majority alliance goes after Troyzan, let's say, and then Troyzan uses his idol, and then they are able to get out the biggest threat. So that's how I see it at this point. But who knows? And then that there you go. That there would be Troyzan's move, right? That could help him. But
no.
yeah, no. It'll probably be Brad telling him to do that. So, anyways, yeah, really. How I really should have known. I really should have known that like the people that we kind of were most skeptical about were going to be the powerhouses going down
Yeah.
the stretch. I mean, it just always ends up happening that way in an annoying way.
Uh.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another, be kind to one another, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.